Hi everybody, it's time for Reading with Mr. Bob. How are you today? It's been an interesting time, hasn't it? We're not able to be at school together, but hopefully by next fall we'll be able to get back to school. But until then, we'll continue to do these stories, and hopefully with your teacher's help and some other things, perhaps we'll be able to do even more later on. Anyway, I have a new story for you. This book is called Franklin Wants a Pet by Paulette Bourgeois and Brenda Clark. Now, I've got this book at school. Perhaps you've seen it or read it. If not, I think you'll enjoy it. Anyway, continue to hang in there. It's going to be okay. This is just how we're going to have to do things for a little while. But until then, we'll enjoy these stories together. Have a good time and enjoy Franklin Wants a Pet. Franklin could count by twos and tie his shoes. He could sleep alone in a small dark shell. He even had a best friend named Bear. But Franklin wanted something else. He wanted a pet. I think we all want a pet, don't you? I have two kitties, one named Hades and one named Jean. Anyway, Franklin wanted a pet since he was small. But whenever he asked, "May I have a pet, please?" his parents said, "Maybe someday." Franklin waited for a long time. He often pretended to have a pet. He took Sam, his stuffed dog, for walks, and he taught Sam tricks. He even helped Sam bury some bones. But Sam wasn't really a real pet. One day, Franklin asked his parents again, "May I have a pet, please?" Franklin's parents looked at each other. "We'll think about it," they answered. At first, Franklin was happy because they did not say no. Then, Franklin became worried. His parents could think about things for days and days. That day, Franklin visited Bear and told him all about the pet he wanted. "If I had a pet, it would be a bird," said Bear. "Why?" said Franklin. "Because birds sing beautiful songs." "Birds are nice," said Franklin, "but their loud singing may wake me up too early." Franklin waited until morning before asking his parents if they had finished thinking yet. "Not quite," said Franklin's mother. "We need to know that you could care for a pet." Franklin nodded his head up and down. "Could you feed your pet?" asked Franklin's father. Franklin nodded again. He almost said "please" 100 times in a row, but he stopped himself. Franklin visited Beaver and told her all about the pet he wanted. "If I had a pet, it would be a cat," said Beaver. "Why?" asked Franklin. "Because cats make purring sounds," she answered. "Cats are nice," said Franklin, "but you never know where they are." That's true. Later that day, Franklin asked his parents, "Are you finished thinking?" "Please hurry," said Franklin. His father sighed. "Franklin, this is a big decision. A pet costs money to buy and to keep." Franklin offered all the money in his piggy bank and hoped it was enough. And it might have been enough to pay for the pet initially, but pets need to keep eating, and so that would often be on Mom and Dad's shoulders. After counting his pennies, Franklin visited with Goose and told her all about the pet he wanted. "If I had a pet, it would be a bunny," said Goose. "Why?" said Franklin. "Because bunnies have wiggly whiskers." "Bunnies are nice," said Franklin, "but I think whiskers might make me sneeze." After 3 whole days, Franklin was tired of waiting for his parents to finish thinking. He had a plan. He brought Sam to the breakfast table. "I have been taking care of Sam for a long, long time. I will take good care of it, real pet too," he said. "I will feed it. I will clean its house. We can take it to the vet if it gets sick." Franklin's parents smiled. "It sounds like you've been doing a lot of thinking too," they said. That's always a good idea to think about things ahead of time instead of just saying you want something and not really knowing all that goes along with it. We once had a bunny in our house, and we left it out in the sun too long because we didn't think about the fact that bunnies needed the shade, and the bunny died. It was a very sad thing. "So may I have a pet, please?" he begged. They whispered to each other. Then they nodded their heads up and down. "Oh, thank you. He wanted to go to the pet store right away. "We'll help you choose a puppy tomorrow," said his father. "No, thank you," said Franklin. "I do not want a dog." His parents were surprised. "Dogs are nice," said Franklin, "but I want a quiet pet." "I think that's a good idea, too." Franklin's mother asked if he wanted a kitten. "No, thank you," said Franklin. "Kittens are nice, but I want a pet that stays close by." "Is it a hamster that you want?" said Franklin's father. Franklin shook his head. "No, no, thank you." "A rabbit?" asked Franklin's mother. "No, thank you," said Franklin. "Well, what kind of pet do you want?" asked his parents. Franklin smiled and said, "I'll show you tomorrow." At the pet store, Franklin pointed to a fish. "I want a goldfish," he said. "A goldfish?" they said. "Why? A fish cannot do tricks or play with you." So Franklin explained. He liked to watch fish swim slowly around and around. He liked their beautiful colors, and he liked the way they made him feel inside, quiet and calm. And that's a good idea. Franklin's been thinking about this, don't you think? I think so. "Besides," he said, "I love goldfish." "That's the best reason of all," said Franklin's parents. Franklin named his goldfish Goldie. He took very good care of her, just as he promised. See, they're coming from the pet store. Every morning, Franklin watched Goldie swim around and around. And every night before he went to bed, Franklin blew a great big fish kiss and whispered, "I love you, Goldie." I think that's a good idea to blow a kiss to a fish, don't you? Trying to kiss a fish might be a little bit yucky. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the story. This is Mr. Bob. If sometimes in these kind of situations we know that we want something too. Maybe we think we need a pet or whatever else. But it's always good to think about these things. Big decisions like this are important to think through and understand and know. And maybe talking to your parents is the best idea of all because they will help you. And they probably have some ideas and some thoughts and some experiences that might help you decide. Anyway, this has been Mr. Bob, and Franklin wants a pet. We'll see you next time.